Welcome students to lesson 12 of the Urban World topic. In this lesson we begin our study of the cities in the UK. We're going to look at where they are, why they grew, and what's good and bad about living in the UK's cities. In this lesson specifically we're going to focus on that story of why the UK's cities grew and where they are located. Please write the date, title and learning objective and have a pen and paper ready to learn. Time to review prior learning. Write 1 to 10, answer the questions from memory, and then mark your answers. Game time. Okay, number 1. BRT is a bus service that uses separate lanes to avoid traffic. 2. Crime discourages people in Rio from walking and cycling to work. 3. Urban sprawl due to population growth encourages people to drive the longer distances to the centre of cities. 4. Rio has built 7 new sewage treatment plants to reduce water pollution in Guanabara Bay. 5. Rio has constructed a waste-to-energy plant that provides enough electricity for about 1,000 homes. 6. The Material Recovery Centre recycles wastes and provides an income to workers from favelas. 7. Rio's largest favela, Rocinha, has improved its sanitation and education. 8. Performance-related pay encourages teachers in Rio to turn up and apply for jobs in favelas, leading to improved education. 9. About how much is HS2 expected to cost? It's between 80 and 100 billion pounds. 10. How much does Shell pay in taxes to the government of Nigeria every year? It's about $1 billion. Give yourselves a mark out of 10. If you got 8 or more, excellent work. You've really understood these ideas. Any questions that you got wrong, come back to this in a week's time and test yourself on them. To introduce the idea of the UK's cities and where they are, I'm going to show you some photos. And some questions are going to come up. Please answer those questions using your understanding. Go for it, then we'll discuss. Number 1, describe the population of these places in these photos. Well, you should have said that London is densely populated, lots of people in a small amount of space, whereas the Scottish Highlands is sparsely populated, meaning that there aren't many people in the same amount of space. Population density is measured as number of people per square kilometre. So if you put a square on the ground and it has sides that are a kilometre long, how many people are in that square? Number 2, why might London have grown? What are the advantages of its location? Well, you could have said that London is the UK's capital city, where the government is based. That attracts people because that's where most investment happens in things like infrastructure. You may also have said that London is on the River Thames, meaning that it's easy to access trade and transport goods across the city and around the world, especially important since the UK developed an empire known as the British Empire. You may have also said that London is on flat land, meaning that construction of buildings and roads and the underground is relatively easy. You may finally have said that London has grown due to migration. People come to London now because they know that there are high-paid jobs available. 3. Why might the Scottish Highlands be sparsely populated? Well, if you look at this photo, you should be able to tell. It's mountainous terrain, meaning it's difficult to construct homes. It's also very distant from any other cities. So to be able to commute to work or get to any location that businesses need to get to would be challenging. 4. How might the location of coal mines explain the distribution of the UK's cities? Well, if you recall from the UK economy topic, you will know that the coal mines were important in the growth of the Industrial Revolution in the UK in the late 18th century, so 1760 and onwards. Coal was the fuel that powered steam engines, and consequently it provided lots of jobs because these machines, steam engines, were responsible for the growth of manufacturing in the UK. And consequently cities grew where coal mines were located. Okay, in this lesson we're going to answer 2 questions. Number 1, where are the UK's cities located? And number 2, why are they located there? What caused them to grow? Let's go. Here's a map of the UK and it shows the urban boundaries in the UK. So this is where the cities are located. So if it's dark blue, it shows there's a town or a city. And if it's light blue like this, it shows it's very sparsely populated, like the Scottish Highlands here. So where are the main cities and why do they grow? Well, up in the north In Scotland, you have two principal cities. Glasgow is the largest city by population, that's located here. Edinburgh, the capital city, is here. As we move further south, Newcastle, located on the coast, on the northeast coast of England. Liverpool, on the west coast of England, along with Manchester here, and Sheffield and Leeds, located around here. Birmingham, in the west of England, also known as the Midlands. Cardiff, located in the south of Wales, very near to the River Severn. Bristol, similarly located on the other side of the Thames, of the Severn estuary. And finally, the largest city in the UK, London, the capital city, located in the southeast on the River Thames. So why are these cities located where they are? Why are they not elsewhere? And what has caused them to grow? Well, the first reason is a physical cause. This map shows you the relief of the United Kingdom. As you go from green to white, it goes from flat land, low flat land, to higher, more mountainous land. As you can see, the distribution of mountains and hills is mostly in the west and north of the UK, particularly in Scotland. By contrast, the south and east of the UK have flatter, lower land. Look at how this affects the distribution of the UK's cities. Most cities are located where the land is flat, for example Liverpool here, and on the coast. Glasgow is located in between these mountain ranges, the Highlands and the Pennines. London is located on low flat land on this river. Birmingham similarly, in lowlands here. Bristol and Cardiff as well. So the land and the relief of the land has been important in explaining the distribution of the UK cities. Flat land makes it easy to farm, and it makes it easy to construct homes, which are vital if cities are going to grow. Not only that, but manufacturing, which grew during the Industrial Revolution, needs large factories and infrastructure, such as roads and clean water supplies, to be able to operate. These are all easier to construct when the land is flat and low down. Finally, the UK is an important trading nation, and it has been for the last few hundred years. As a result, building cities on the coast makes a lot of sense because it's easy to set up a port and trade goods around the world. It's one reason why London's located here, and Liverpool here, and Cardiff and Bristol here, and Newcastle here. It's not only that though, rivers are also vital. The ports are often built on rivers, but in the past transport was so easy through to the centre of the UK through the UK's rivers. The River Severn up here, the Thames here, the Tyne here, the Mersey here. Many important rivers hold some of the UK's largest and most significant cities because they allow the easy construction of ports. Tilbury Docks in East London is located on the River Thames. It used to be Britain's largest port. So the physical geography of the UK, flat land, and the location of rivers helps us to explain the location of the UK cities. But that doesn't fully explain why the UK cities are where they are and why they grew so much after the Industrial Revolution. That can largely be explained by this: the distribution of the UK's coal mines. Coal, as you can see, is mostly located in the Midlands of the UK and in the north, and it almost perfectly matches the distribution of the UK's largest cities. Liverpool, Manchester here, in one of the UK's largest coal mines. Cardiff and Bristol located around coal mines. Glasgow, Edinburgh around coal mines. Newcastle around coal mines. These coal mines became increasingly important after 1760 because of the Industrial Revolution. James Watt invented the steam engine, and many other people made inventions after 1760 that contributed to the growth of mechanization and rapid manufacturing of textiles and steel and other products that the UK constructed after that period. And this rapidly attracted people from around the UK's countryside, its rural areas, to the cities. Now, coal is a very heavy substance, and you need a lot of it to be able to power a power station and machines. So it made sense to build the UK's cities around the coal mines so that transportation was much easier. And so most of the UK's cities, especially those in the north where most of the manufacturing in the UK happened during the Industrial Revolution, are located where the coal mines are. Because you take the coal, to the factory. You burn the coal to create electricity, which is used to power the machines of the Industrial Revolution, and this led to many jobs being created. Consequently, rural to urban migration accelerated after the Industrial Revolution to such an extent that Birmingham, Liverpool, Manchester, Sheffield, Leeds and London all grew rapidly in that time period. Their growth has slowed down now significantly because the Industrial Revolution in the UK is over, and we now live in a post-industrial economy with much less manufacturing and much less dependence on cities for jobs, because communication is better, IT is better, and services in rural areas are better, so people don't have to work in cities to be able to have good jobs. This is the story of the UK's urban area population growth and its patterns. It has been decided by physical geography, the location of rivers and flat land, and the physical geography of coal mines, which allowed the growth of the industry after the Industrial Revolution. London, however, is a special case amongst a few others. London grew not because of the location of coal, and partly because of the location of flat land, but also London grew because it is where the government is based. Governments tend to invest most of their money in the capital cities where they are based. And consequently, London's infrastructure is the most advanced. It has the most sophisticated underground and bus systems, and it has the most high-speed internet. It has the UK's first sewer system as well. Consequently, today London grows largely because most of the UK's largest businesses that provide the highest paid jobs, for example in the finance sector and other tertiary sector jobs like in tourism, are located in London. And so migration, not only from around the UK, for example from northern cities to London, but also from around the world, is predominantly, which means mainly, going to London. Time to assess learning. Question 1. Why might economic growth have accelerated in the north of the UK after the 1800s? You should have said that because the coal mines of the UK were located mostly in the north, people suddenly had access to jobs in coal mining, which became increasingly important during the Industrial Revolution, as coal was needed as the fuel to create electricity and power steam engines, which were used in manufacturing. Manufacturing produced much higher profits for people, leading to great wealth. And that money was partly spent on growing cities, building great ports and buildings. Question 2. Why are most of the UK's cities located on the coast? You should have said that many of the UK cities are located on the coast because ports are constructed here. Ports which are vital for international trade, imports and exports of goods. And international trade makes up a significant part of the UK's economy. And you should have said that when Britain was an empire, it relied on imports of commodities, raw materials, from its empire, for example from India and African countries, as well as from America and Canada. Consequently, growing a city around a port was an intelligent decision to make, since businesses were located around those ports, creating jobs for people. And finally, why is economic growth and income growth, so the rise in incomes, stagnated or slowed down in the northern cities of the UK, whereas in London it has not slowed down, and London is successful today? You should have said that because of deindustrialisation in the UK, manufacturing decreased in the north, as well as coal mining, and consequently people who worked in those jobs and in those sectors lost their employment and so lost their incomes. By contrast, London, in the south of the UK, was mostly based on the tertiary and quaternary sectors. Things like banks, lawyers, doctors, tourism, retail, so shopping. All of these sectors did very well after the transition, which means the change, to a post-industrial economy. Consequently, people have become richer in London. Time to embed learning. Please read the questions, answer them using your understanding, and then mark your answers. Go for it. So distribution. Remember, you need to give examples and give the overall pattern. Like that. Both of these points are needed for both marks. Question 2. How do the physical features of the UK contribute to the location of urban areas? Again, you need both points here. 3. Why did many cities grow around coal mines and coastal areas? Both points needed. Make sure you talk about Industrial Revolution, secondary sector, steam engines, and give some dates if possible. And finally, why is London growing at the fastest rate of any city, so population growth? Give any of these points. Please mark your answers and add any corrections in green pen. Give yourselves a mark out of the total. If you did very well in this, fantastic. If not, watch the explanation again in a week's time and attempt the questions again from memory. From the lesson, write 2 questions. Answer them from memory. In a week's time, test yourself on those same questions to check whether you've really memorized what you've learned this lesson. Next lesson onwards, we are going to be exploring our case study of a UK city, and we're going to be looking at one of the UK's most important but lesser known cities, Bristol. Join me for that.